Hello lovers, welcome to the Butterfly Effect podcast hosted by myself, Lauren Amy. This is for those who are ready to take up space, who are living a soft life loudly and are ready to savor the sweetness in each moment. Here we're going to embrace transformation, the beauty of the in-between and the magic of becoming. So pull up a seat and listen in because life is delicious and it's about goddamn time we eat it up. Hello stunners, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Welcome back to your Wellness Wednesday and another episode of the Butterfly Effect podcast. How are you feeling today? Okay, got an exciting episode coming at you this week, okay? Last week I feel like was a little bit doom and gloom and a bit too serious for my liking and wanted to bring a little bit more variety into the podcast. I was thinking over the past few days, what I wanted to talk about this week, and I've got a few topics in mind, but I think I want to start off with talking about being your own person, okay? Perhaps those of you, I understand those of you that listen to this podcast come from different situations, right? Some of you are single and are loving and embracing that single era. Some of you are in relationships, whether you are the early stages of dating, maybe you're even married, maybe you've been together a long time, okay? Some of you are perhaps in the early stages of breakup and you're in your healing journey, okay? So I understand there's going to be people at different stages in life listening to this podcast, okay? But I feel like this topic is going to appeal and it's going to tend to whatever situation you are currently in, okay? It's going to tend to everyone, all right? So I want to talk about being your own person. Now, for my single girlies, okay, this is probably the bit about being single that sucks the most, okay? We're not even going to put it lightly, okay? We're going to start on a down, but we're going to bring ourselves up, all right? Being your own person, I'm not going to lie, sucks ass, okay? Okay, not having a person to come home to tell you about your day. Think of all the things that you experience in a relationship, right? When you have that other person, you have someone, who's going to message you good morning, okay, wishing you a nice day, someone to come home to, someone to ask how you're feeling, someone to ask how your day has gone, someone to ask about that event you just did or the things that you're working towards, okay? When you don't have that person, it sucks ass. And it's hard, it's challenging. It's the thing about being single that I probably struggle with the most. As much as I love being single, as much as I embrace my single era, not having that person is challenging. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm surrounded by people. I'm surrounded by love, okay? I have my mum and dad, my brother and sister, but if I think about it, my mum and dad, their priorities should be each other, okay? My brother, his priority is his wife and his two little girls, as it should be. My sister, her priority is her husband and her two little boys, as it should be, okay? And then there's little me existing in my singledom, enjoying myself, but yes, I don't have that person, okay? And as I've said before, and I'm going to say it again because it actually feels quite nice to say, it sucks ass, all right? Let's just accept it, okay? Now, I also have lots of lovely friends who I go to, and actually there's been a few friends that I will literally just message and say can I just tell you about my day a little bit? And they'll be like, absolutely, please tell me about your day. And I occasionally get voice notes from people being like, okay, can I talk to you about this little thing? And then, yeah, can you tell me about what you're working through at the moment? And so friends are there, absolutely. But obviously you don't want to be burdening your friends all the while and saying can I talk to you about this? Can I blah, blah, blah? Can I rant to you about this? Can I vent to you about this? Yeah, your friends are obviously going to have different priorities, okay? And even in the same friendship group, there's going to be different stages. They're going to be at different situations, okay? Literally, I have a real close group of friends. One of them is married. One of them is seriously dating, living with a partner. One of them is again, on a similar situation to me, very single and embracing it. And I think you'll see this more and more, as you get older, as you get to 30s, that you'll see the different stages that everyone is at. And sometimes that can be quite jarring, okay? I've had many discussions with friends about this recently. But again, it's a reminder that there's no set timeline, okay? You can waste your time comparing yourself to others, but everyone has something that they're working on. Everyone has something that they're thinking of, they're working through, they're trying to process, whether it's to do with their job, whether it's to do with family, whether it's to do with their dating, like whatever situation or whatever people you are surrounded by, each person is working through something. Okay, in the same way that you are working through something right now, okay? So whilst you might not have a person, there is a mutual understanding, okay, that I'm working through this, you're working through that. Can we actually come together and actually talk about the things that we are working on right now? And I think when you find those friendships, that is beautiful, okay? It kind of fills these little gaps here and there that aren't filled when you aren't in a relationship, okay? But when you are single, it's solely down to you to fill these gaps in your life, okay? So you are your own person. And in some ways that feels really empowering, okay? You can show up exactly as you need to for yourself on that particular day, on that particular morning, or whatever your day might entail. You show up for you, okay? You are at the center of your experience, okay? Your priorities, your needs, they are right at the forefront of your mind. And perhaps the benefit is that you don't have anyone else's needs, anyone else's like wants or desires kind of occupying precious headspace, okay? Some people have said to me like, oh, you don't have to deal with, the weight of whatever your partner is going through, okay? But, it's nice to have someone to share that weight with, okay? So there's the peaks and troughs, there's the highs and lows, but honoring the fact that when you are single, you are on your own person. So I want to talk about the fact how we can celebrate that even more, embrace that even more. Still, okay, saying, it's sometimes a bit shitty. It's sometimes a bit like sticky, all right? And there's going to be times where you might need to rely on your friends, your family a little bit, but at the end of the day, the majority of the time, you are your own person. Now, again, this still very much speaks to my girlies in relationships, married, with kids, retired, whatever stage, okay? Because one of the things I want to talk about is being your own person, regardless of what situation you are in, and romanticizing it, okay? This is something we forget to do all the while, okay? We forget to romanticize the life we have, okay? And it just takes whatever you're moving through, it just takes it and makes it even more sacred, makes it even more beautiful. So in this episode, I want to talk about my top, how many am I going to go for? Top five tips on how to romanticize your life at no matter what stage you are at in your life, okay? So here we go. Number one is to create little rituals for yourself, okay? Now, I'm not saying that you need to go all witchy and create spells here and there, but just little rituals that, again, feel sacred, that make your mornings feel sacred, that make your Sunday evenings feel sacred, okay? One of the things I do is on a Sunday, I love to have a calm Sunday evening, so it doesn't happen every weekend, but a calm Sunday evening where I will plan out my week ahead, okay? And I'll literally write everything down. I'll time block my days, what day I'm doing what, blah, 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 blah. And it just allows me to then wake up the next morning, already know what I need to, what needs to be done this week. It allows me to have that clear focus, that clear intention as I enter into the new week, okay? But again, what makes it more of a ritual, what makes it more sacred is maybe lighting some incense as I do it. Maybe lighting a candle as I do it. I honestly feel like you can romanticize any moment by just whacking out some incense and lighting a candle, okay? It just creates the space, it warms the space, and yeah, whatever it is you're doing, it just makes it feel more and more beautiful. So what little rituals can you add into your day? And perhaps actually think about the ways in which you do this already, even your morning cup of tea, right? How can you make it more sacred? Okay. Maybe you take it outside, okay? Maybe you actually have a moment where you plant your feet into the earth, okay? If it's a sunny day, feel the sun against your skin. Even if there's a light drizzle, okay? Feel the rain softly land against your skin, and actually take a moment just to honor what it is you're feeling, what is it you're noticing. Take that moment to ground, to center, before then going into whatever the rest of the day has to offer. And so really in these rituals, it again places you at the center, okay? Places you at the center, grounds you into that moment, this very moment right here, right now. And it's like, okay, what is it that I'd like to do today? What is it I'd like to feel today? What's going to allow me to feel accomplished at the end of the day, maybe? And these don't have to be things that you do every day or every week. Maybe it's something you do once a month, okay? I have these fancy collagen face masks, the ones that go translucent. And actually, if you watch the Brighton vlogs, you would have seen me try this face mask for the first time, and it was quite a hilarious experience. So I have these face masks, and because they are a little bit more spenny, okay, and I don't have very many of them, that is a ritual I do at the beginning of each month, okay, where I use my fancy face mask, maybe run myself a little bath, okay, again, maybe light a little candle, and I sleep in this face mask overnight, and again, I wake up with the most glorious skin you have ever seen, okay? So again, it doesn't need to be a weekly thing or a daily thing. It could be a whatever, schedule you kind of want to set it to. And it doesn't need to be super precise. But again, these little rituals that make the mundane seem a little bit more magical, okay? So that is tip numero uno, okay? My tip number 2 is dress for the mood you want to be in. This is something I've been placing a little bit more attention to recently, because I've really discovered, particularly with my hair, if the pink isn't popping, if it's like dulled, if it's faded, I feel like I myself have faded, okay? That's why I top up the pink quite often, and that's why I do have quite high maintenance hair, because I feel like the more vibrant my hair is, the more pink it is, the more vibrant my personality is, okay? And the more confident I feel. And it's weird, I've gone through my entire life having blonde hair. The second I whacked pink in there, it's like a new personality was just unleashed into this world, okay? And I feel like the way you dress helps amplify that even more. So again, playing with color, what makes you feel good, okay? And it doesn't need to be visually pleasing to anyone else necessarily. If it's visually pleasing to you and it feels good on your skin, then oh my God, go for it, okay? And I've been spending a little bit more time each morning, and this literally what used to be the case is that I would wake up, I'd throw on whatever t-shirt, and sometimes be wearing like old like concert t-shirts that I'd maybe like cut the sleeves off. And I think this maybe stems from like dance studio days where you kind of just wear whatever to the dance studio, right? Because you're going to be rolling around on the floor. So part of my brain was still stuck in that mentality where I was just like, well, I'm going to the studio. I might not necessarily be rolling around on the floor as much, but I'm still going to a similar space. Therefore, I'm going to dress the same. However, it's taken me a good few years to actually realize, I can still dress and have fun with it, actually. As long as it's comfortable for me to move in, then have fun with it, okay? So dress for the mood that you want to be in. Do you want to feel joyous? Do you want to feel flirty? Do you want to feel fabulous, okay? Have fun picking out these items of clothing, these pieces. If you want to wear a bandana on your head, go wear a bandana on your head, all right? If you want to dye your hair different colours, go dye your hair different colours. You only live once, okay? And what a beautiful way it is that we get to play with these things, right? Again, this is actually such a luxury, okay? This is a luxury that you have, all right? So yeah, dress for the mood that you want to be in, okay? Number 3, this is going to be very obvious to anyone that knows me. Take yourself on solo dates, okay? This is so, so important, okay? Regardless of whether you are single or whether you are in a relationship. I may have mentioned this before, but I have a beautiful close friend, not just like beautiful on the outside. She is such a beautiful soul. And she is married, and she still takes herself on these many solo adventures. She takes herself on these solo trips abroad, and I love it. Okay. She has literally said, you know, even though we are together, we are married and we have a beautiful marriage, we are still very much our own people. Okay. So, and that really inspired me. That's something that really landed in my brain, especially in the early days of coming out my relationship, because I realized how much I wasn't my own person in that relationship. So whilst there's moments where, you know, I complain or, you know, I worry about the fact that I don't have a person, the fact that I'm able to be my own person is so vastly different to when I had a person anyway. I hope that makes sense. Okay. So taking yourself on solo dates is so, so important. And it doesn't need to be these extravagant trips abroad, okay? Just even a little coffee date, even a little walk outside. That's something, you know, I still have to actively encourage myself to do. I had a moment over the weekend where I think I had a little wobble, a little spiral. And again, like I just ran this beautiful event with Danny. We were feeling so pumped, so hyped up from it. It went gorgeously well. And then I come home and it's just me. You know, I come home and I have no one to celebrate this event with. Obviously, Danny and I are going to be having a little catch up, a little debrief post the event, but I don't have someone to come home to and really say, you know, oh, it went really well. Can I tell you about this? Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, it's just me. Okay. So I was feeling this kind of somewhat heavy energy, somewhat like disappointed energy, which is really weird. I've come from this heightened experience in the morning where I'm feeling really, really good and really, really happy interacting with people. And then I come home and it's this quiet. It's this almost like confronting silence in a way. And then I let myself sit with it for a little bit of time. And then I was like, actually, I need like a shift in energy here. Like I need something that's just going to pick me up and actually remind me that it's okay. You know, that is where solo dating comes into play. Okay. It's getting yourself out of the house and living life. Okay. Because there's so much to explore. There's so much to do. There's so much to see. Don't feel as you have to wait for another person to do these things with you. Okay. I have done so much stuff since being single, I've tried far more things being single than I have ever done in a relationship, okay? And just because you are perhaps in a relationship right now doesn't mean that you can't try new things. Like you can't like try different avenues, try different paths. Like I know so many people that have changed their job like so many times because it's almost like you can change your job, you can change your lifestyle, almost like changing your clothing, you know, like showing up differently each day. Like maybe today I want to show up as this person. Maybe today I want to show up as this person. I want to show up as a person that, you know, seeks out adventure. I want to show up as a person that savors every passing moment. So, okay, I'm going to do exactly that. So I would ask yourself when the next time you have a free day, what's something that you would like to do? What have you seen whilst you've been doom scrolling on social media? We all do it, okay? What is something that you've seen on social media that looks like a fun day out or a fun activity that you liked, that you maybe saved, okay? Can you then create space to go and do that thing? Okay. And again, don't worry about other opinions and what you should or shouldn't be doing, what you ought to be doing with your time. Just go and do it. Give yourself that permission to do the thing that you want to do. Whether you do it on a solo date or whether you bring someone else along with you, just do it. Okay. Okay. That was number 3. Number 4, something a little bit different. Okay. Number 4, I would suggest create your own soundscape. Now, I am very musically motivated, okay? I have a playlist for pretty much every situation, every scenario. So if I'm having like a little sad girl moment, I have a playlist that's full of sad Billie Eilish songs or even sad Lewis Capaldi songs, okay? Lewis Capaldi is for when we're feeling like really sad, when we just need to sit in a corner and like sing some lyrics whilst crying, okay? Or I have a playlist for when I'm feeling like a little whimsical, when I want to frolic through the field, okay? I have a playlist literally called Hot Girl Shit, when I want to do some hot girl shit. And then I have a playlist for villain era. I'm kind of exposing myself here and my many different personalities, but Yes, a villain era playlist. Again, it's kind of similar to hot girl shit when you just feel like you need a bit more oomph to get things done. But villain era is when you've got that real fiery determination, all right? Or whether you feel like you're about to do something bold or courageous. Again, it gives you that little bit more oomph, okay? So create yourself a soundscape. Have like different playlists for your different personalities to shine on through. I highly recommend this hot girl shit playlist. I actually might share it because it's got some fire in there. Okay, number 5. This is going to be my last one, I think. Number 5. And again, it's quite obvious. It's notice the little things, okay? Notice the small, subtle gestures, okay? Or the small moments in your day. And again, make them a little bit more magical. And I think this is a nice one to finish off on because it kind of rounds back to number 1, all right? It's creating your own little rituals, making the mundane seem a little bit more magical, okay? So what can we notice, okay? I'm just looking around my room for a little bit of inspiration right now. Okay, I have these prints that I bought out on a solo trip in Milan. And sometimes when you put things up on a wall, right, they literally become another part of the furniture. You stop noticing. And actually I'm looking at it now and like the gorgeous like orange and into yellow, like really noticing the color and how the colors blend, okay? And then in noticing it, it reminds me of that amazing trip I took to Milan, that beautiful solo adventure that allowed me to feel so empowered, so inspired, okay? And then again, I'm looking around at the plants around me. I've got new leaves sprouting from my ZZ plant. And, you know, new leaves, they're this bright green, they're really luminous, and they've got this like glossy texture to them that in itself is beautiful. So it's an invitation to look around you, see the little things in your home, okay? And I'm a bit of a gatherer, okay? I gather little pieces here and there. So I've got, again, those things from Milan. I've got this little crocheted placemat on my coffee table that my nan made me years ago. I've got these pine cones that family friends picked up for me one day whilst they were out on a lovely walk. So noticing the things in your own space that you have, okay? And then, of course, when you're out and about, perhaps looking up more. Look at the colours in the sky. Look at the cloud formations. Look at the way in which the sun is dappling through the leaves. Feel the breeze against your skin, okay? There is so much to be noticed in this world. We spend so much of our time looking down, looking insular, being closed off. What happens when we shift that perspective, lift our chin, look up, and take in what's around us, okay? Whether it's in your space, okay, or whether it's in the world whilst you're out adventuring, whilst you're out on these solo dates, notice the little things, okay? And this is a practice, okay? So therefore it needs to be practiced. It's not going to be easy, okay? And perhaps it's going to feel a bit weird, okay? Everything new actually feels a bit weird. Anytime you're trying something new, anytime you're going on an adventure or like you're learning a new skill, there's moments where it feels weird. Not everything falls into place seamlessly. Sometimes it needs a little bit more time, okay? So these are little practices that I encourage you to literally go away and practice, okay? So I hope you enjoyed that one, loves. 5 ways that you can romanticize your life, whether you are single, whether you are in a relationship, whether you are married, whether you are retired, whether you are working, whatever situation you are in, we can all create more space to romanticize our life, okay? And after all, life is delicious. We gotta eat it up, okay? I'm bringing back that phrase, okay? I used to say that a lot, maybe like 2 years ago. I'm bringing it back. It's here to stay. I might even get it tattooed across my forehead. No, I won't. Sorry, mother, I won't do that. But life is delicious. We gotta eat it up. And on that note, I'm gonna wrap it up, honeys. That was a very quick fire episode. I feel like I've just been word vomiting down the mic, but I hope that landed. I hope that inspired you. And yeah, go live your best, beautiful, messy, chaotic, whimsical life. And tag me in whatever you get up to because I want to see you frolic, all right? Beautiful. Go thrive, my honeys. I love ya. Mwah.